Tonight's headlines: Duterte certifies 2021 budget as urgent. NPC wants term sharing deal followed. Gierran lauded for PhilHealth execs resignation. Coronavirus cases in the country now at 334,770. Philippines to consider manufacturing Russian vaccine. LPA to bring rains over Metro Manila. PSEi ends week in the red. And 1.9 trillion injected to Philippine financial system. Good evening. Today is Friday, October 9, 2020. I am Elmer Navarro Manuel and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening. President Rodrigo Duterte is seeking the speedy passage of the 2021 national budget, according to Malacanang Friday, as lawmakers tussled for the top spot of the House of Representatives. Duterte, in a proclamation, certified the 4.5 trillion peso proposed national budget as urgent, according to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. Bills certified as urgent are exempt from a rule requiring lawmakers to study the measure for at least 3 days before voting on it. The palace spokesperson added that Duterte, in the same proclamation, called for a special Congress session from October 13 to 16 to resume the congressional deliberations on the proposed 2021 national budget and to avoid any further delays on its prompt passage. The president's move comes a day after he told lawmakers to resolve the impasse in the House as worries over the possible delayed approval of the budget surfaced after House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano abruptly suspended session on Tuesday. He moved to pass the national budget on second reading, terminating crucial deliberations on the spending bill days before he was supposed to hand over House leadership to Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco. Rizal Representative Michael John Duavit on Friday revealed that the Nationalist People's Coalition wants the term-sharing agreement between House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano and Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco to be followed. He stressed the importance of trust and confidence in a large collegiate body like the House of Representatives, and if a person cannot hold up his end of the bargain, then it would be very difficult to work with a person like that. Under the term-sharing agreement brokered by no less than President Rodrigo Duterte, Cayetano would be Speaker for 15 months and Velasco would take over in the succeeding 21 months. Cayetano said that Duterte asked Velasco to delay the turnover of the speakership to December to give way to ongoing budget deliberations. He claimed that Velasco refused. On September 30, Cayetano offered to resign, but the House quickly rejected the offer through a vote. Days later, the House approved on second reading the proposed 4.5 trillion peso national budget for 2021 and suspended the session until November 16, which means there could be no turnover of the speakership on the expected date, which is October 14. The palace on Friday announced that the resignation and retirement of 43 senior officers of the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation was a step in the right direction. The development came after PhilHealth President and CEO Dante Gierran implemented a board resolution for all senior officers from salary grade 26 and above to tender their courtesy resignation as corruption allegations hounded the agency. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said that Gierran's predecessor Ricardo Morales blatantly failed to carry out this resolution and commended Gierran for his display of decisiveness. To recall, a Senate panel in September recommended the filing of criminal charges against Health Secretary Francisco Duque III, chairman of the PhilHealth Board, and several former and incumbent officials of the insurer over alleged anomalies. Whistleblowers told lawmakers that several PhilHealth officials allegedly pocketed 15 billion pesos in state funds and approved the request of overpriced projects and fund to release to supposedly favored hospitals. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
This is a very important story. The important story.
Pictures and stories.
Today, we feel the weight of history on our shoulders. The way we have been moving leads nowhere. We need to change course.
Since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can overcome them.
The Health Department reported 2,996 confirmed coronavirus disease cases on Friday to bring the total number of infected to 334,770. Most of the new cases came from the National Capital Region with 1,094, which was followed by Cavite with 282, Batangas with 166, Iloilo with 152, and Laguna with 147. The number of recoveries, on the other hand, rose to 275,307 after 1,045 patients have recovered from the disease, while the death toll is now at 6,152 following 83 fatalities recorded. There are also 53,311 active cases still undergoing treatment or quarantine, of which 85.8% are mild, 9.9% are asymptomatic, 1.4% are severe, and 3% are in critical condition. Meanwhile, experts from the University of the Philippines has advised the government to maintain efforts in sustaining the downward trend of COVID-19 infections in the country, warning that positive trends are not irreversible. The Health Department announced that it was open to Russia's plan of setting up a COVID-19 vaccine manufacturing and distributing hub in the Philippines, as the development could give the country a medical advantage. The DOH stressed that it will provide the Philippines an advantage not just for the pandemic but in the coming years. The Department of Trade and Industry said that the possibility was discussed during the Department of Trade and Industry's meeting with a Russian diplomat. It was also discussed when Health Secretary Francisco Duque III met with Russian Ambassador Igor Kovayev. The DOH previously said the country was also considering repackaging the vaccines or taking on the fill and finish process, since the Philippines does not have a factory yet for vaccines. Despite the Philippines' eagerness to set up its own vaccine plant, the DOH said they made sure to inform the Russian government that everything has to go through the regulatory processes. State Weather Bureau Pagasa on Friday said that a low-pressure area in the southwest monsoon are expected to bring cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over Metro Manila and 8 other areas. In its 24-hour forecast, the State Weather Agency said Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, Bicol Region, Visayas, Zamboanga Peninsula, Northern Mindanao, and Caraga are also affected by the weather condition. Pagasa warned of possible flash floods or landslides due to scattered, moderate to at times heavy rains, while the rest of Mindanao may experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers due to localized thunderstorms. The northeasterly surface wind flow, meanwhile, may bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains over Ilocos region, Cordillera Administrative Region and Cagayan Valley, but it has no significant impact on the country according to the state weather agency. A typhoon outside the Philippine area of responsibility was also located at 1,615 kilometers northeast of extreme northern Luzon, with maximum sustained winds of 130 kilometers near the center and gustiness of up to 160 kilometers per hour. It is moving north-northeastward at 10 kilometers per hour. Sunrise is at 5:47 a.m. and sunset will be at 5:38 p.m. We'll pause for a short break. Stay with us.
Bilang bagong mag-asawa, sabay kaming natututo sa buhay.
Sabay rin namin inaaral ng mga bayarin sa bahay.
Kahit kami, nagtaka sa biglang laki ng electricity bill namin. Huwag pong mangambang maputulan. Sinisigurado ng Meralco na walang disconnection hanggang September.
Estimated bills lang ang natanggap natin ng March, April at para sa ilan, May. Dahil sa lockdown, isang tabi to para hindi na maguluhan.
Ang May o June ay actual meter reading na. Kung May, nagka-actual reading, ibabawas dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran hanggang 3 buwang konsumo.
Kung estimated reading sa May at June nagka-actual reading, ibabawas din dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran. Hanggang 4 na buwang konsumo, walang labis. Tandaan, kung ano lang na konsumo,
Yun lang ang babayaran.
ako po si Mateo G.
At ako naman po si Sarah G.
G?
G!
Magsha-shopping na lang ako!
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can I get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets, na pink yung soft ha, tapos slides, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang, okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver. Call.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... Fiancé ko sa Lipa? Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami
Call
mag-deliver.
to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
In business, the Philippine Stock Exchange Index finished in the red on Friday after the WHO reported a record one-day increase in global COVID-19 virus cases Thursday, led by a surge of infections in Europe. The main equities index shed 0.19% or 11.05 points to 5,931.61 points, while the broader all shares was able to close the week's trade up by 0.006% or 0.20 points to 3,563.85 points. Volume totaled 9.16 billion shares amounting to 5.63 billion pesos as gainers led losers 119 to 76 while 43 shares were unchanged. Meanwhile, the Philippine peso ended the week sideways against the US dollar on positive news both here and abroad. The local currency finished the trade on Friday at 48.305 from 48.355 the previous day, which Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation Chief Economist Michael Ricafort described as the strongest since October 24, 2016, when it ended the trade at 48.19. Ricafort attributed the peso's strength partly to the assurance made by President Rodrigo Duterte that the proposed 4.5 trillion peso national budget for next year would be passed on time, despite the suspension of sessions in the House of Representatives. And the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas announced that almost 2 trillion has been released to the financial system by the monetary easing measures by the central bank. BSP Governor Benjamin Jokno said that the BSP has injected approximately 1.9 trillion pesos in liquidity into the financial system, which is equivalent to 9.6% of the gross domestic product. The central bank chief earlier explained that the cut in reserve requirement, the amount of cash banks are required to hold in reserve for universal and commercial banks of 200 basis points and interest rate reduction by 175 basis points, has injected additional liquidity in the financial system. The BSP also slashed reserve requirements for thrift banks and rural banks by 100 basis points. Last week, the BSP approved the request for a 540 billion peso loan of the government to budgetary support amid the deficits due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Documents released by the Bureau of the Treasury on Wednesday showed that the national government's running debt balance was at record 9.615 trillion pesos as of end August, 21.1% higher than the same month last year. That wraps up the stories tonight. Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune Digital Edition and Press Reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. The Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join. And before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store for my shirt and jacket this evening. Again, this is Elmer Navarro Manuel and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall. the world's original thriller, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
Ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO ay isang legitimate business entity na nagbibigay serbisyo sa offshore gaming para lamang sa mga manlalarong nasa abroad sa pamamagitan ng internet. Ang mga serbisyong handog nito ay katulad ng casino games at sports betting na pwedeng laruin kahit wala sa casino. Sa Pilipinas, walang POGO operators. Tanging POGO service providers lamang dahil nagaganap ang mga laro sa labas ng bansa.
Click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap. It's a wrap, just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the Ring apps are the in thing. You know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use. Mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now.
Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Good morning, sir. How may I help you?
Bakit kailangan ko pang pumunta sa bangko?
Oo nga naman, sir. Ba't kailangan pang pumunta sa bangko?
Why not get a UB app so you can do all these without going to the bank? Bank the way you live. Union Bank.